I'm going to call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Can I ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have Mr. Larry Osborne here to do the invocation for us tonight.
All right, let's bow for a word of prayer. Father, we are thankful for this evening and having the opportunity to come together to discuss the business of things that need to happen here in the community of Star. And I just pray that you would, once again, give this council wisdom and insight as they deliberate over us and as they talk through certain issues, that you will just give them the energy that they need for it. I said, the wisdom and insight. We thank you for what they are doing for our community, and just pray that it will, what they're doing will be seen by others, and just help our community to become a more thriving community and one that is knit together. We just pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Roll call.
Councilwoman Solmonson. Here. Councilman Keys.
Here.
Councilman Hershey.
Present.
Councilman Nielsen had an emergency at his office tonight, so he will not be here tonight. Okay, move on to item 4, approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. So that motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of items number 5A, regular meeting minutes of January 5th, 2021, and item 5B, final plat for sample commercial subdivision.
We got our motion. We have a second.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't hear you.
I said
Okay.
aye.
All right. All right. That motion carries. On to item 6, presentations there. Do you want to grab your person? We're going to do a Pathways and Beautification Q4 Service Award.
I'll go get her.
Okay. It's getting warm in here right now. I like your dress. Mr. Matt is going to present the Beautification of Pathways Q4 Service Award.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor and Council.
And Matt, do me a favor, make sure you speak in that so
Sure.
There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight on behalf of the STAR Pathways and Beautification Committee to present to Miss Sarah Dawson the Q4 of 2020 Service Award. Now, we select this, we receive nominations throughout the community for this award for things that have been done in our community, ranging from nonprofit activities to helping out in events to going to just making this community overall a better place. And Miss Kim Ingraham submitted your nomination, Sarah, and she said that you have been a tremendous help with things like hometown celebration youth games, helping out with the Star Bike Rodeo. I'm helping out with the Star Family Movie Night, and also most recently the Star Easter Egg Extravaganza and Trunk or Treat. You're also a summer camp lead. So it was clear to me and to the committee that you have a passion for service and also a passion for young people, which I share and the community shares as well. And we just wanted to recognize you as that recipient. So tonight we have an award for you, and your name will go inscribed on a plaque that will stay in City Hall for all time. So thank you so much for all your commitment and dedication to the city. It goes recognized. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here to be with Sarah when she's given this awesome award.
You come up here and give it to her.
Absolutely.
If you'd like, yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You gotta come down low. Oh, it's up to you. Entirely up to you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Miss Sarah. You do a lot for our community, so that's awesome. I'm so glad you got that award this month. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you again, Sarah, so much.
Or this door right here is good. Yeah. Thank you. You bet.
Thank you, Matt.
We're going to move on to item 7A, the public hearing for the Canvasback subdivision annexation and zoning. This is a continuation from a tabling from November 17th, 2020. And I think Sean, oh, okay, good. We'll have the applicant, when you get ready here, you can come up here. And Ryan, do we have a sign-in sheet for out there? Okay. Did you turn that down? Okay, thank you. Hey, Miss Dana, can you make Chris a panelist so he could comment? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna reopen this public hearing. Miss Jane, here's got some, I got a presentation that you want me to pull up,
Do.
correct? Let's see here.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Jane Suggs, representing Canvasback. If you'll just pull up the one that says, actually, that's good. You can pull that up, or there's an individual drawing there that I think we just probably best refer to, and it's
This one?
called comparison. No, that's,
This one?
it's a separate drawing. That'll work.
Okay.
That'll work.
Oh, I got you. Will this one work?
That'll work.
Okay.
It's not quite as clear as the one that's separate, but it'll work. It's the same thing. Let me start off by saying thank you again for letting me come. Third time's a charm, we hope. Jane Suggs, representing Canvasback Subdivision and Trilogy Development.
Hey, sorry. Chris, are you online? Let me just
Okay.
clarify something here. Chris, are you online?
Yes,
Do I need to ask for if the council's got any ex parte if we're continuing the hearing?
it'd be helpful just to clarify, there hasn't been any new ex parte since the last hearing.
All right. Let me ask the council if they had any ex parte communication regarding this project since our last public hearing.
No, Mr.
None.
Mayor.
None.
Okay, hearing none, sorry. I
No.
apologize for that. I just want to make sure we're doing it the right way. So,
I want to do it the right way.
Yep.
So that we don't have to redo this again. So thank you very much for that.
you bet.
At our hearing on November 17th, we were asked to meet with the Star Acres neighbors. We had our meeting on December 16th. 15 neighbors were invited to attend. I believe it was 9 that attended. It was a virtual meeting. And let me just go out and say thank you to Ann Cook. She actually helped organize the meeting. There were many of the attendees who could not come and meet in person, even though we had started to arrange a time here at City Hall to meet. Everyone agreed a virtual meeting would be best. And Ann actually helped train a few people on how to use the Zoom. So I really appreciate her help. You have a letter from me that outlines the changes. That was in your packet, probably front and center. The changes were made at the request of the neighbors. We now have 106 lots. That's down from the 112 that were previously submitted. The density is now just under 3.5 dwelling units per acre. Your comprehensive plan, as you'll recall, does allow for residential, neighborhood residential development, and it allows 3 to 5 dwelling units to an acre. I can walk you through the changes if you want. I believe the letter was fairly clear, but since we have that drawing up, I'm gonna,
Will you please walk us through the changes so it's on record for us?
is this a pointer?
Yes, ma'am.
The red button.
The red button. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, I have to hold it down. Okay. Here is the new plat. And here was the one you saw back in November. So the changes that we have made, I'll start at the top. We had a larger lot here. We still have these 4 larger lots. Now we had 3 here. We've reduced to 2 at the recommendation of Mr. Falau, who asked us when he's driving by this street, he would rather not see 3 houses here. He would rather see fewer. We also put in some landscaping here. So we have 2 instead of 3. So we lost a lot there. Again, at the agreement of all the neighbors, we had 6 lots here that are backing up to the park area, which is along Wing Road, you'll recall. We have combined those lots and now made 3. So these are 3 much larger lots. So we lost 3 lots there. Down here, we're leaving this lot because Ms. Cook liked the idea that the acre did not have to be south of Rolling Hills. She wanted, since her house is here, she wanted this visual so that we could landscape in this area. I should turn over here. Landscape in this area. So this lot is the same. However, we took the 4 lots here and turned it into 2. So next to the large open space lot, we do have a buildable lot, but it's made up of 3 of the original lots. So we lost a couple of lots there. So that reduces our density. We do think that we have provided plenty of transition here between the residents of Star Acres and we have the Wing Road here, we have the larger lots, we have the large open space, and we have the large open space here, plus larger lots. We will meet the city's code regarding all the setbacks. We are not requesting any changes to the side yard, front yard, or backyard setbacks. So we will meet the code for R3, R4. We'll maintain the access onto Wing Road. I know that was quite a concern with the neighbors. However, this was approved by ACHD. They do want connectivity there. I did talk to an ACHD representative, the planning supervisor, and she said there would be no staff approval of a change to that, and she would not recommend that to the commission. We do not plan to go back to the commission and ask them to remove that. You'll also see that your package included a new letter from the fire department, and it's just another reapproval of our plan. So we did check with them and showed that to the fire department or fire district, and they approved this layout. We do agree with all the conditions of approval in the staff report. And I, again, respectfully request your approval of the annexation, rezone, and preliminary plat as submitted the last submittal. And I'll stand for questions.
Could you mention the sidewalk on Brandon?
Oh, yes. Yeah, there was a question about sidewalk on Brandon. In fact, I got a call from Wendy because I think she was asking us what separated sidewalk. So we will have a planting strip between the curb and the sidewalk on Brandon. And
So
that's
we'll start
always
the detached up there.
detached. That's always been planned for detached on Brandon because that is a collector street and it will have traffic. And so that would be a good thing to have there with some plantings that will be meeting the code. We have not submitted a landscape plan as requested by the staff. We will be submitting the landscape plan and meeting the code prior to our first final plat. And you can see the phasing here. Phase 1 is all of this, and phase 2 is up here.
Okay.
I'll stand for questions.
Any questions of the applicant? I do. So just pathway wise, is there pathways and stuff in your sub? I can't tell on there.
Yes, we have a pathway connection here. Most of these areas right here are easily connected to the open space. These streets, we have a path right here at the end of this street. So you can come down here, there's a path here, and there's a path between the lots right here. And otherwise we have, sidewalk connectivity.
So I would request that those paths be concreted.
They will be, yes, there will be a concrete sidewalk in, I think it's a 5-foot sidewalk and a 15 to 20-foot lot.
Okay. Any further questions of the applicant?
I have one.
Councilwoman?
So along Wing Road, was there a sidewalk back along the property as well?
I believe we are required to put in a sidewalk along Ring Road. We'll be a curb gutter and sidewalk along Wing. Yes.
And then it ends down at the bottom, about halfway through.
The sidewalk will come all the way down along the frontage of Wing Road. So all the way down here.
Right, but I don't think it covers that bottom corner where the open space is.
Right
Did you
here?
See that on the map? No, further down at the very edge. Yeah.
Right here?
Right there.
N-
It looks like it, you know, it
That's-
ends.
That's adjacent to private property, so
Mhm.
this area right here is not adjacent to a street, so there would be no sidewalk there. There is a pipe going to be put in right there along that property boundary between Mrs. Cook, whose house is, it's kind of hard, I cut it off too far, but right here. So no sidewalk there.
Right, okay.
That will be landscaped, however. So that'll be an open space with landscaping. There'll be a pipe for irrigation there.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay,
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
so we're going to move on to public testimony. Then Mr. Failo, he just walked out there. Sean, you want to see if he's going to come testify?
Yeah. Mr. Mayor.
We'll put, oh, here he comes.
Just checking the ACHD report and they do have a attached sidewalk along.
Okay. All right. There is, Mr. Failo, you're up, sir, Mr. Failo. Yep. So you got 3 minutes, sir, and I need you to state your name and address for the record when you get up there to the microphone. Yep, thank you. If I can get it pulled up. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Robert Fairwell. I've lived for over 13 years.
Okay, hang on a sec. I can't have you speaking. You got to speak in the microphone so everybody online can hear you.
My name is Robert Fairwell. I've lived for over 13 years at 2203 North Sunning Lane. Mayor, council, and staff, I'd like to thank you for requiring the neighborhood meeting that we had. For more input on this project, we tried to include as many neighbors as we could. We'd like to thank Mrs. Suggs and the developer for listening and working with us. Some meaningful changes were made. You may not believe me saying this, but we feel that with some additions and clarifications, this new proposal could continue potentially onto a workshop. We would like confirmation about Councilman Key's request last meeting, excuse me, and Jane's agreement that all the houses on the east border be limited to single story. We'd also request that all these homes have a 10-foot setback on the sides and that the 4 150 deep lots have a backyard setback of 40 feet to be able to keep that transition. Those lots are big enough there. Mayor Chadwick, you requested last meeting that the 2 lots that were, oh, you got mine up. The 2 lots that were adjacent to the Cook lot be actually removed because the majority of that property, that open space was not 1 acre there next to them. Instead, they've actually just combined those into 1 large lot. And I don't think it tends to create a transition as well as it should there. So then I suggest that it move. You can see in the drawing, if you scroll up in page 3.
Go to page 3.
Yeah, so it would align with the back lot of the proposed Sellwood. So page 1, sorry, if you go back, is the revised cannabis back division with, oh, excuse me, the council stated they'd like to have density reduced. I made some drawings here for the workshop that would really easily illustrate one very simple workable solution and to the density that you requested. The narrowest lot in any of the surrounding developments in that whole area is 60 feet. The lots just to the north of New Hope and Greendale are 85 to 74 feet wide. I think that 50-foot wide lots are more appropriate for R5 developments. Page number 2
You got about 15 seconds. sir.
shows the lots, the 47 lots that are under 60 feet. Page 3 shows a potential, page 3 illustrates if you made the lots that are under the 60 feet into 60-foot lots, and shows how they start to align with the other lots behind them, and how it allows more room for green space. Page 4 is a landscape plan. They did add, if you scroll down just a little bit,
Okay, your time's up, sir.
they did add some green space, but there's a lot of areas that are just fence right next to the road.
Right. Okay.
And I'd like, if you have any questions.
Any
I'll be
questions for Mr. Failau? From anybody? No? Okay. Thank you, sir. Can I hold on to this for a minute? Can I hold on to this
You certainly
presentation
may.
up here? Okay, just in
And I'll
case.
stick around for if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. We got Mr. Abreu. Name and address, sir,
Where's
for the
my
record.
friend?
Huh?
Where's my friend? He knew my address. He was gonna be good. Joe Abreu, 2730 North Rolling Hills. Thank you to the mayor and council for the opportunity. We've been here a lot for this whole thing. Sounds like we're not, ACHD is not gonna work with us, but I don't know if you have any bearing on that. Also, along the park, I would like to see a fence along that park, even if it's an open fence. There's numerous people in the development, in our development, that would like that. Some don't. But I think the majority do. And ultimately, I guess what I came here to say today is, I think we're getting into the same problem that we're looking at some other developments in the area. These developments are too dense for the area. This does not work, in my opinion, for Star. And it needs to be changed. It needs to be completely rebooted, because this is a rural area that's going to get overcome by building. And this is the beginning of it. And I know a lot of people bring up Eagle and they bring up other areas. I actually had a gentleman tell me today, neighborhood gentleman tell me today, is this type of building going on in our area, adjacent to that north, I guess, northern side and western side of Eagle. His terminology was, it seems like Star is building the low income housing for Eagle. And I don't think any of you want that. I know people that live there don't. So if I was to make a recommendation, I think this should be denied completely and come up with a better plan. This is way too small, way too tight, condensed for the area. I know we've had that problem already. It's been discussed up the hill in this council chambers that a lot of mistakes were made in that. And I just don't want to see anybody on this council. You've been extremely helpful. I just don't want to see you make another mistake. And I'm not saying you are, but I think, because we haven't made a decision yet, but this is a mistake for that area. This is not beneficial to Star. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll move to the folks online. We have Miss Ann. Is she there? Can you hear us, Miss Ann?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. If you don't mind giving your name and address for the record.
Yes. Ann Cook, 10399 Rolling Hills Drive, Star. And I'd like to thank the council for letting us come and speak again. I'd also like to thank Jane Suggs and Sean Brownlee. Jane reached out to us to schedule our neighborhood meeting on December 16th, and we had it over Zoom, and it was quite fruitful. And a lot of changes have been made that we really appreciate. I'd like to first say that we really appreciate, excuse me, the open space planned by our home. With the Sellwood subdevelopment coming in, it would be nice if the open space that was next to us could adjoin or align with the Sellwood open space. If that's not possible, Ms. Suggs and her designers did do what we asked, which was to leave that fairly large open space next to us and make the lots that were to the west of that, the southwest, a little bit larger and reduce the number of lots. So we do appreciate that. If there could be a stipulation put in the development agreement concerning access to maintain the ditch that's going to be piped and buried. At the October 6th meeting, Jane did say that they would allow maintenance of that ditch from their side totally. And that was after a discussion of our fence and trees being there for 45 years. So I don't know if that's possible, but it would be, we'd like to have something that's a matter of public record so that no buildings are built close to the ditch, no big trees are planted, so that equipment could get in there. Hopefully there won't be much maintenance needed once it's piped and buried, but you never know. So we would appreciate that. I don't know that if it would help if the council would write a letter to ACHD. We would support the neighbors in wanting to get rid of that access road or move it further north. And we would like to be included in the landscape planning. And I have a feeling that a workshop might be beneficial to discuss the few remaining issues that the neighbors have. So that's it. Thank you all.
Any questions of Miss Ann? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we got Mary Jane. Are you online, Miss Mary Jane? She's not online. Okay. How about Carolyn Johns? Miss,
Yes,
can you hear us, Miss Carolyn? Oh. There we are. I think you
Okay.
just, there we are.
now you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. If you could give me your name and address, ma'am, for the record.
Yes, my name is Carolyn Johns and my address is 10300 West Rolling Hills Drive in Star Acres. Our home is actually on the corner of Rolling Hills Drive and Wing Road. And although our address is Rolling Hills Drive because that's our driveway access, our house actually faces west to Wing Road. And we are right across the street from the entrance from Canvasback subdivision onto Wing Road. Is right across from our house. My husband and I have lived here for 31 years. We bought our land in 1988 and built our house and moved in 1990, and we've loved living in Star. We are speaking against the entrance that is on Wing Road. We would really like to have it done away with entirely. Wing Road is a little short country road. It's for all intents and purposes a dead end. It meets Rolling Hills and Rolling Hills is a dead end. There is no outlet. That road was never planned to have dozens, if not hundreds of cars on it. And we just think that the amount of traffic that entrance on Wing Road in and out of Canvasback is going to be way too much volume of traffic for what Wing Road has ever been planned for. We would really like to have it done away with. And I talked to Stacy Arrington at ACHD and she said that we would have to go to the commission to get it done away with. But she suggested that we have the planners move the entrance to north of the park where, I don't know, I hope you got my written testimony. I attached a couple of plats, and one of the original plats of Canvasback, they had actually 3 entrances on Wing Road, 2 of which were up north of the park. And either one of those entrances could take the place of the entrance that's down at the south end. The entrance is at the south end is too close to Rolling Hills Drive. It's going to be just an accident waiting to happen. And we think that up north would be a much better place to have it. And Stacy Arrington thought that up at the north end of Wing Road, before you get to New Hope, there is a section where there are no homes, it's just pasture. And if they would locate that entrance in and out of Canvasback across from the pasture, that way it wouldn't be across from anybody's home. Where it is now, every house, or excuse me, every car that comes out of that entrance after dark, their headlights are going to shine right in our living room window. So we're really against that. And we would really ask if you could intercede on our behalf with the ACHD to see if they would allow us to delete that entrance altogether. And if not, if you would require the planners to locate that road up north of the park where it wouldn't be across from anyone's home. So that's our main objection, is just where that road is located.
Do you, you got about 10 seconds, ma'am, sorry.
The only other thing is, we do not want a fence along the park, along Wing Road at all. I don't think it's necessary. And we think that if they do have to put a fence, it should be just a low, maybe a 3-foot tall wrought iron fence or something. That we don't want anything to block our view. We've been looking at that farmland across the road from us for 31 years. So the last thing, 6-foot fence.
Sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but your time's up.
That's
ma'am.
okay. That's okay. Thank you for your time.
All right, appreciate you. Thank you. Is Mary Jane on at all? No. Okay. With that, the applicant could come back up and
We'll see
rebut.
if it did any good. You are muted.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor and council members. Mr. Mayor, would you please put that other drawing up that we had of the plat? There you go. It's a good idea. We have, as you can tell, still the neighbors want to change the plan. We feel like we've done a really good job of addressing their comments when we had our neighborhood meeting. I can agree that the 4 larger lots in the northeast can be single story. And I can agree that the large lot down at the very bottom in the southeast can be single story. So otherwise, those are the ones closest to property boundaries. I think the other rest of the lots, we will build single stories or 2 stories meeting the code, which is a 10-foot side yard setback on the upper stories. So we will meet the code on those. We can agree to those 4. And does that make sense to these 4 lots? And this lot to be single story, even though that would make a really nice 2-story, but we'll make that single story in these 4. I do not believe we need to change the setbacks from the code, which we are going to be meeting. I don't think we need to change the lot around Mrs. Cook's house, because we have done exactly what she's asked us to do, even though other neighbors want to change that. That is the property. It's adjacent to Mrs. Cook, and she agrees with the design that we have created. I do not believe this is low income housing. As you can see, there's differences on the fencing. We do plan just to hope to keep that whole area along the park open with no fencing at all. So these would be open areas with some landscaping. And inside the park, of course, we will have amenities. We'll have a picnic shelter and a play structure for the kids. I do agree with Ann. It was a very good meeting. We all had suggestions, and the one thing that we couldn't agree upon, nobody could agree upon, was the fencing. So this is what we're hoping to just leave it open. We will make sure that there are no trees planted right next to this property boundary. I don't think Mr. Kaiser will let us do that. So we can make sure that that pipe is maintained by the HOA. That is not going to be maintained any longer by the farmers union. It'll be maintained by the HOA since it's just a small pipe. There is a pipe up here that is a delivery pipe it's in an easement that will be maintained by the HRM. We of course won't have any buildings on that open space lot. I believe I was asked before that none of the lots will be re-subdivided. I think that's part of the conditions as well. I think we can make sure that our landscape, we work with the staff and our landscape plan can meet the code. And I don't think we need to workshop this again to come back again on the landscape plan. I'd be happy to make sure that the neighbors get a copy of that plan when it's submitted to the city as well. We think that this location of this connection to Rolling Hills, just north of Rolling Hills, the Wing Road is appropriate location, providing access not only to the Star Acres folks, but to our neighbors, the new neighbors as well. We did at one time have various connections, and from our very first neighborhood meeting, we were challenged on that. So we took out 2 of those connections and made it 1. I do believe, unfortunately, that if we try to extend this property right here, this street, instead of this one, it just moves the street in front of someone else's house. The only way to move it in front of an empty area is to redesign that whole area. And we do not want to do a redesign just to move a street that's already been approved by ACHD. So we really, very respectfully ask you to allow us to continue to have that connection to Wing Road at that location, because it works with our layout, it works with Mrs. Cook, it works with our open space and the sizes of our lots. I think there was just a lot of concern about just density. And I just want to say again that we're in the neighborhood residential area with 3 to 5 units to an acre. We're just under 3.5 with our new plan. So again, I will stand some more questions if you want to talk about some of the concerns of the neighbors.
So I do want to ask you a question here real quick. On that stub road there, if we were to write a letter, Sean, to ACHD about removing that possibly, and if they agree with us, if we can convince them, you're okay with removing it and just extending out that park, right?
If you approve me with the condition that before our final plat of phase 1 is done, that you can get that removed, that will be fine. I will tell you right now that ACHD Commission has just moved to a much more connectivity focus.
No, I get it. I would
And-
deal with them every day.
I know. So, I did talk, and it wasn't Stacy. Actually, I think Mindy is Stacy's boss now. So I talked to Mindy Wallace and I asked her about it. I said, what would it take? And she said, well, you would never get it through staff, and we would not recommend it to the commissioners. And I will tell you now, with the new commission, it will not get approved. Wing Road's a public road. We all own that road.
No,
So,
I get
yeah.
that, but I guess
Yeah.
my question is, you're okay if we can get it done before your final plat on the first phase? If they're willing to let that go, you would remove, you're not tied into putting a road stub there.
I'm only tied into it because it was approved that way, and I'm trying to get a project approved and move forward. So,
Well,
yeah.
we could put it in a condition that
That
if we can get it done before your final plat,
Okay.
right? Then we can get it removed. Okay.
Yeah, that is, but
I don't know if you're gonna name that, you're like Jane's Road or something.
Red Start is the name of a duck, I guess,
All
like
right.
a canvas.
Thank you.
Or-
Any other questions of the applicant?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, the maintenance of that ditch. So, is there an existing licensing agreement with the ditch company on how that's, you said the HOA is going to take care of it?
Just like it takes care of all the smaller laterals on the property, the HOA will take care of that. It'll be piped. So likely very little maintenance. And now that there is a new project coming below us, that whole system will be piped. So
Yes. And so I know a lot of ditch companies require a 12.5-foot easement on either side of a pipe. Does that exist here?
I think it's a 10-foot on either side. And I think Mrs. Cook was referring to that because 10 feet of that is on her property under her trees. So she is just asking us to make sure that if there is some sort of maintenance, that it be taken care of from our side. And since that's an open space lot, we don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
If it requires a license agreement, I don't think it's going to, tell you the truth, I don't know, because I don't do the license agreements with the irrigation companies. All I know is that once we develop and you get these pipes running behind houses and stuff, typically the HOA takes care of those things.
Okay. Let's see. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant?
Just one, Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey?
and it's probably a dead horse now, but this swing road access was Carolyn Jones's house. Is that?
Yeah.
Where does their driveway line up with that thing?
I wish I,
I mean, it's not directly across, is it?
It's actually on Rolling Hills. It's not on.
Okay.
yeah. And so
If we
we,
couldn't get that removed, which I know we're going to ask, and I think we would have a better chance than anybody coming from a city to ask. Is there any way we could landscape the block headlights of any type? I know it's across the street, but
I think we could do that if that's something Mrs. Johns wants us just right in front of the street. I'm actually, I've done that before in another project years ago where we had a similar circumstance where we actually provided some landscaping. Now, might have to get an easement from her and it'll be her maintenance responsibility because we won't be tying into our PI system. So whatever irrigation she uses, we wouldn't want to have to go across the street with the PI and all of that. But yeah, we could put some landscaping there, some shrubbery. If that is something, yeah,
put it in and
let's,
your commitment's done.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it if that's what it takes. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and Council, it looks like their house is about 280 feet from Wing Road to their edge of their house on to the east.
Okay.
Probably isn't any irrigation out there, but there might be.
Right. I've got a little tiny map. I don't know if it helps to, council member, if you'd like to see. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we add that to a condition that we will put some landscaping in that area right in front of the connection if you don't succeed in getting rid of it. So.
Good. Any further comments or questions of the applicant?
It's the only question I had right now. Thank you.
So just so we're clear before we close the hearing.
Yes.
So we're saying single-story houses on the 4 large lots on the north, a single story next to, on that larger lot down there by that park on the bottom,
Right.
correct? They'd be willing to move that street if we get that removed or add landscaping there so it doesn't impact.
Landscaping right here across the street.
Yeah.
Right.
With an agreement from the Johnses. You're gonna do a detached sidewalk along Brandon.
Yes.
And we're gonna have 5-foot pathways on those 2 areas there that you were talking about on your plan, right? Those 2.
Yes, right here
Paths.
and right here.
And you're not asking for any special setbacks anymore, correct?
No special setbacks,
Okay.
meeting the code. I want to bring up one thing when we remove that, if we remove that street. One of the issues is coming down here, we have one access to all of these lots. Until we get until that other development happens, we're beholden to them to get a secondary access. And we have more than 30 lots. I would want you to take that around to your fire and emergency services because they may say that they need a secondary access.
Well, and we could even look at that being an emergency access until such time that that gets put in.
We could do that. We could do
Right,
that.
I mean, right? Yeah, I mean, there's options to make it work too.
Yeah,
so.
well, one of the things ACHD mentioned to me was, we always talk about emergency services, and this is just to share some of the conversation we had. They said, what about the delivery people and the other people that are trying to, once they get down here, because they've driven down Wing Road to Rolling Hills and realize it's a dead end, are they going to come back around? Or are they going to, it would be nice for them to have a way out. So that's a little bit closer. So that was from ACHD. They're planners. They do think about the connectivity issue, but just bringing that up
And
that,
I get it. We
Yeah.
think about our city, so.
yes, I know,
It's
I know.
like, whatever.
Yeah, deliveries and other people that are trying to get to where they're going. So,
Okay.
thank
Any other
you.
questions of Ms. Jane? Did I cover everything, I think, that we talked about? Okay,
And I very respectfully ask your approval tonight. I really would appreciate it.
okay.
Thank you.
So we're gonna close the public hearing and move on to deliberations. Don't everybody speak at one time.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'll start this. So I want to address the concerns that we heard about density. I think, frankly, I think the density conversation really needed to happen in the spring of 2019 when we were revising our comprehensive plan. I don't recall any conversations about density for that area then, but you know, the fact of the matter is that we've had a bunch of, and we recently made some density changes, but those don't affect projects that were already underway. I think I think everybody would like to see a little less density there, but the reality is that is 3 to 5 in our plan, or excuse me, it's 3 to 5 in our plan. The applicant at this point is pretty close to 3.5-ish. They've already reduced density a little bit based on the requests of the neighbors. And I think that, you know, the density the way it is, it's going to be the way it is for me at this point. If we have new projects that come forward in places where we've recently changed the comp plan, then they'll be under a different rule. I'm in support of working with ACHD if we can to remove that road, even if we need to keep it as an emergency egress, even, you know, for a longer time. When I look at this map, I can foresee a lot of traffic going down Wing Road in the future, especially as all these other subdivisions develop. If we can divert most of that traffic up to New Hope and Brandon rather than Wing, I'm in favor of that in terms of just preserving the character of the neighborhood. Sounds like the ditch issue is taken care of, and whatever licensing agreement or whatever they have, I'm certain they'll take care of. What else have I got? I think I'd just like to say, you know, Ms. Suggs, thank you for working with the neighbors. It sounds like some progress was made. I don't know that everybody got everything they wanted, but I think it sounds like everybody got something that they wanted. You put a lot of effort in, I think, to responding to what the council's asked for and responding to what the neighbors have asked for. And at this point, I'm supportive of the project with conditions of approval as we've listed. Thank you.
Okay, any further comments? Discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a few comments.
Councilman Hershey?
Oh, excuse me. I just forgot everything I was going to say. My apologies. First, I want to thank the neighbors that have come out over the last months and given us their insights, their concerns, their passion. One, because I think that's very important. I weigh heavily on what neighbors say. And two, it's been respectful, a good exchange between us, between the neighbors, between the developer, and I don't know how your meetings go, but I assume they were okay because I haven't seen anyone come in bruises or casts. So it's, I think that's very important. And like Councilman Keys stated, and he said it very well, is, and this is something I believe. I believe you never can get absolutely everything you want, but a lot of concessions have been made and individual concerns have been addressed and rectified, with the exception of Wing Road, which we are going to take a second stab at. And even though I can't get Carolyn Johns on the horn to ask her, I think if it comes down to some landscaping, that might do it. And there are some bushes that require like almost no water that grow ridiculous. And if you want 2 of them, they're in my yard, they're free. And with the changes that have been made, and the density is sitting at under 3.5, that is really not that dense. It does look dense in some areas just because of the open space requirements we have. And the open space, I believe they've done a very good job of making a good buffer, especially with the single-story houses in those large northern lots, and the park and all the greenery that goes down it. There is a lot of buffering there, a lot more than there was. The density has been reduced. It's, I believe, a lot of effort's gone into this, and I don't have anything else to add except the additional conditions. We will go after Wing Road, even if it's just an access for emergency vehicles, single-story houses, and I was fine with no fence going around the park at all. Keep that as open as possible. It's the end of my comments.
Okay. Councilwoman?
Thank you. This is the hardest part for me is this deliberation part. Anyway, I appreciate working with the neighbors. I can tell that you've put a lot of effort into it and, like council, my fellow council have voiced, I think that for the majority, everybody has negotiated and, for the most part, came to an agreement. The density issue, in our comp plan, it is 3 to 5 units, and coming in at 3.5, it fits what we have in our comp plan. I do appreciate how you have, put those denser clusters, in the development and worked with the neighbors so that those bigger lots transition to the neighbors. And that is all I would like to add. Thank you.
I just want to make a couple comments. Mr. Falo brought up a nice map here about the Selwood property down below. However, we don't have an entitlement yet down there to line up anything on that because we don't even know how that's going to change yet because we sent them back as well. But I would like to ask Jane to really do a really good job and really focus on the landscaping on this project if it gets approved, because I think it's important to make that landscaping look really good for those neighbors that are around on the Wing Road side there in the Star Acres subdivision. I think that's important. So that's all and we'll do our best, to see what we can do about trying to get that road on the wing, either turn into emergency access road or eliminate it altogether, right? So we can help with some of the concerns about traffic and lights and stuff like that. So, all right, that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Keys.
Yeah, I just want to add to my comments. I know that the neighbors have worked really hard on this. I know the neighbors have worked really hard on several others that have come before the council. And I wanted to extend what Councilman Hershey said and thank the neighbors for getting organized and being thoughtful and bringing things to the council that are actionable. We often get public testimony from neighbors who don't work together and oftentimes bring us things that aren't necessarily factual. Sometimes they're emotional. And I just want to commend the Star Acres neighbors for the way that they work together as a team to try and improve all these applications that are coming. And this isn't the only one we've seen. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I think you've added value to the process. So.
Okay. Excuse me, any further comments? I'd entertain a motion, anything? So did you have all the conditions down, Sean, or?
Right now, I just have the conditions about removing the connection onto Wing Road if ACHD allows, and the buffer landscaping along Wing Road, the neighboring property owner.
And single stories,
In those 5 lots.
those single stories for the 5 lots.
Could you name the lot numbers again?
I don't,
Do you remember?
I have that information.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
Block 8, lot 2, and block 2, lot 21, 22, and 23,
and 24.
and
Right.
24.
Yeah, there's 5 total lots there,
Got it.
And
the
and
large
then-
lots. And then the detached sidewalk along Brandon.
That's a condition of approval in ACHD's report. So.
Oh, it is? Okay, all right. And then concrete in the sidewalks or in the pathways.
And then working with the Johns to potentially add some landscaping if that's their wishes, assuming that the road doesn't change.
You know what? I might have given you the wrong numbers. I apologize.
So right
I
here.
read a different one. Yeah, so it's
So
block
these 4 right
2,
here, Sean, and this one right there.
4, 5, 6, and 7.
Those 4 and this
and
one
that
here,
one.
single
Got it.
story.
Got it. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this with conditions that we've listed.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Okay, a 2-minute recess. You really need, okay, we're gonna take a real quick recess before we move on to the next public hearing.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to bring this city council meeting back to order. We're going to move on to item 7B, which is the public hearing for the Saddlewood subdivision preliminary plat. Councilman Key stepped out of the room because this is his project. Okay, so we still have a quorum, correct, Chris? Because we
That's
started with
correct,
the.
Mayor.
Okay, so we're going to have Mr. Gibbons speak to the project, and you got, oh, first of all, sorry. Does any of the council have any ex parte communication or contact on this project?
Other than I know Councilman Keys, no.
Besides that, okay?
Same, none.
Okay.
None.
Hearing none, then Mr. Gibbons, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman. I bring you, my name is Jay Gibbons. My business address is 2002 South Vista in Boise. I represent the project presented to you via Inspiration Homes. It's Saddlewood subdivision. It's on a piece of property that is across the flake lateral from on the north side of Star Elementary. It was before you, this property was before you last August, late last summer for annexation and a rezone. We are now back in front of you with a preliminary plat. So Saddlewood subdivision is the name, county approved name. What we expect to do long term, and the reason that you see a sign saying Wilson Landing is it was formerly the Wilson property, and in the Wilson and Irene, Miss Irene Wilson's honor, we anticipate doing marketing and actually calling the subdivision by Wilson Landing. But for county purposes, this is Saddlewood. This you've seen similar situation with Heron River down the road here in Star. It was platted as Parkstone subdivision. Same type of deal. So features of our project, the business model is to construct a quality neighborhood, narrow lot format that compares favorably with the surrounding neighborhood on a cost per square foot basis. Wilson Landing will include generous open space. The CCNRs will be set to encourage owner-occupied homes, limit the percentage of rentals over time. We do have open space with a picnic shelter, a public pathway along the flake lateral. There are also occasional intimate seating vignettes, otherwise as seating opportunities along the pathway along the flake lateral. And there is also a public or a school connection, public sidewalk out of the east end of our project that connects to the Waterview subdivision so that kids can come through our property and get to the school, not have to walk out to Star Road. As I said, the pathways will have public access by City of Star residents. We'll provide permanent public walking and biking routes to support the City of Star's bike and ped initiatives. This includes the safe walking route that I'll show you in a minute. Route from Star Elementary from the Waterview neighborhood, and that has taken place. We've been in discussions with both the school principal and the school district office with regard to that connection, and they would like to see it happen, and we're going to make it happen. The development exceeds a new City of Star landscape requirements. We have a landscape plan. It's extensive, and I'll go through that momentarily as well. The primary street has traffic calming to minimize. It is straight down the middle, basically, and we have traffic calming. We are adding additional traffic calming as on top of what we present tonight because of some requirements from ACHD. Those are in the work already. So if you remember back to the rezone hearings in August, previous to that, we came up with a development plan that we have a stub street from the north, we have a stub street from the south, both on the latter half of the development. We connect onto Star Road. Our original lot count was about 67 lots. That was well within the comprehensive plan at that point. When we came before you for the rezone, we had, Irene Wilson's property. The yellow piece, the yellow square was Irene's home, and we were going to develop around her so that she could stay there. She, of course, we lost her last year, so we took the lot count down to 49 from 67. And what you see, the current concept on the bottom, there is a lot of open space. We do have 49 lots. That equates to about not quite 5 units per acre, down from what the 10. That is still well within what meets the code as well as the comp plan. So this, what I'm trying to show you is, the applicant's been responsive to comments from both the neighborhood meetings and from the city council through the zoning process. And what we have before you is the preliminary plat. It meshes in the lot sizes are, I'm going to say roughly the width of the lots are about 55 feet in width. And that's commensurate with it. It is an infill type of property. It's a 10-acre linear piece of property, formerly a pasture. It has been cleaned up. We are providing connections to and through the neighboring developments themselves. And we are improving Star Road frontage so that it will have sidewalk and it will be safer for kids. Plus we're connecting the pathway along the Flake Lateral and to the northeast. As you can see, I don't know which way you want to look, but right in this corner, this area, that's the additional walkway that connects up to along the lateral back there that will connect up so that all of these kids can actually walk through to get to school. Previously, they would have had to walk all through the sidewalk, and now we have a sidewalk. Plus that one, plus these kids can also come down the public pathway. So enlarge that to really just relate to our plat. We do have, oops, back, there we go. So on our frontage along Star, we have, we're required 20-foot buffer strip. Those are actually common lots that will be 51 feet deep, and that'll include a berm and heavy landscaping. We do have a common lot on the north side center that will be a drainage way, but it will also have a picnic shelter and a mail kiosk. We have a common area here that connects from our street system to the pathway along the Flake Lateral. This stub street will have, of course, landscaping on both sides, as there's a landscape strip between the homes and the connection street to Knox. I believe it's Knox. And then all of this is the Flake Lateral irrigation easement. We can't build, we're gonna plat our lots at the edge of the easement line, the north easement line. So this remains, there will be a pathway that provides maintenance access to the irrigation district. Those and those license agreements are in place at this point as well. So a little better picture graphically as far as what is common area. We do have 17%. Our total common area is 19.4%. Qualified open space by Star City Code is 17%. And council had asked for improvements to usable open space and during annexation or rezone hearings. And this accomplishes that. We are able to actually split our drainage from this lot. Everything from here we will treat our own storm drainage on that lot, and everything from this road back this way, actually, we're allowed to drain into that drain according to the drainage district. And so we've worked with that, but our open space is adequate and exceeds the city's requirements. So my next slide is regarding streetlights and a mailbox plan. We do have a central mailbox kiosk, which is in the corner of the open space lot between the street and the picnic shelter. Each of these stars is a street light, so they will be at the intersections. And we do have another one that will actually be there by the mail kiosk. Those also, the streetlights also correspond with future school district bus drop-offs, pickups, stops. And the mailbox cluster location has been approved by the postmaster here in Star already. So now we get more into the pretty landscape plan. So what's happening here is the applicant intends to exceed the landscape requirements that are in STAR's new development code. And I know that those continue to change and be upgraded. And as they've gone, of course, the owner is intimately aware with what the city wishes to do, and he is trying to go over and above that. I have some enlarged areas to talk about, specifically the road buffer. 20-foot buffer is required. We're showing a 51-foot street buffer. It's deeper than the surrounding neighborhoods. This allows us the space to make a taller berm, add more trees and plantings. And we anticipate having a 7-foot high berm. At 3-to-1, that takes basically 49 feet right there. So it will all be elevated up and down. If you have been by the Eagle Island buffer on Eagle Road on a smaller version, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We also have, so we have 246 feet of street frontage, and that requires 5 shade trees, and we're exceeding that by 5. We're gonna have 10 shade trees. Also 5 conifer trees are required, and we're gonna install 14. So you can see it's gonna be a pretty heavy duty buffer. And it will also present a really nice entry to our subdivision. So as far as street trees are concerned, interior to the subdivision to Wilson Landing, we're required by code 1 tree per 35 feet. That means 68 are required. And so what you see is there's outside of the common areas on the street frontage of each lot, it's 1 per 35 all the way across. Also, the amount of open space, common area requires 21. And part of that needs a little bit of explanation as this whole area of common area that I told you is the flake lateral easement with the pathway. We're not allowed to plant trees in that. So rather than say, well, those 21 trees we can't plant, we are planting those required 21 trees. They've been broken up. There are more trees in this common area and this common area. And you know, that's part of the count. So we're keeping all those 21 trees. They've just been reallocated around the subdivision in the common areas themselves. Also, we wanted to present a nicer image from the school property because of on the school property, there is just a chain link fence. The backside of our lots will have a wrought iron open style fence, but we're also going to add a tree, another shade tree, in agreement with some talks we had with the school district. Would like to still have trees on that side. So we're going to plant a tree in the back of each house as it's built. And so that's above and beyond any additional or required trees that are necessary. That's what we're doing. Qualified amenities. Like I say, we have a picnic shelter. One because of the size of our development, one qualified amenity is required. However, if we count the picnic shelter as our one, it only counts as half because that lot is also a drainage lot. It is about, from what I see, it's about 2 feet. It needs about 2 feet of depth in order to handle the worst storm. It will very, very, very seldom have enough water to even show But it is a drainage way. So in addition to that amenity, we of course have the pathway along the flake. We have, there's a seating element here and a seating element here along. And what is it? It's more than just one bench along the pathway. Why we refer to as intimate seating areas, because it's two pathways, or it's two benches. They're facing each other on a gravel pull off. So, you know, you can sit and talk to folks instead of having to sit side by side and watch either the school or somebody's backyard. So that is also part of our amenities. We also have this pathway to the for school access. So we have 3 amenities in excess of what's required. We have 7 additional usable open space beyond the 10% either. And so with that, I will stand for questions, and I look forward to your consideration, and hopefully the council will see fit to approve our plat, and we can move through the process, clean this up.
Okay, any questions of the applicant at this time?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So I appreciate the, one of the questions I had prior was about that pathway in the back. So there is going to be a pathway along the full length along that canal. And was it going to be paved or concrete or ADA compliant somehow?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Samuelson, that pathway will be a compacted gravel. It can't be concrete because of the license agreement because it's an irrigation easement. So it has to be, but it still will be ADA accessible because it will be compacted and smooth.
Okay. And then my other question, are you requesting like a setback waiver? It says,
I think they already have a setback waiver
is
from
it already in there?
when we
They
approved
were
it.
approved already through the development agreement for reduced setbacks.
Okay.
We are asking for nothing other than what was
Nothing
agreed to
but than
before.
what's already
Correct.
there. Okay. And then I guess I have can I ask a question for staff right now, or do
Sure.
I need to wait? Okay.
No, go ahead.
So regarding the drainage, a portion of it will go into the irrigation system.
It's a Jackson drain.
Okay.
It runs, fat finger this, it runs up, and actually there's an open drain at the moment on the north side of this. That will be tiled because it is tiled from this point as part of Waterview till it hits the street. So
And then the remaining water, it stays on the property?
correct.
Okay. And so is that, I've never seen it like that before, where a portion goes into a drain and then the rest stays on.
Yeah, they could, if they have a historic drainage on the property, they can utilize the drainage canals, but that's up to the district to approve.
Okay. And I didn't see a letter from a response from the irrigation district. Did I just miss that in our packet?
We didn't have one.
We didn't receive one?
That's pretty typical. They don't always.
So what are you looking
Okay,
for from
okay,
them?
that's all. I just wanted to make sure that off-site drainage into a drain was okay. So, and
Gotcha.
then yeah, okay, thank you.
And those are under license agreements that are actually in place with the irrigation and drainage
Okay,
districts.
yeah, and so without that letter, I didn't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, our city engineer will verify, make sure that all the irrigation, all the districts are satisfied with what they're proposing during the final plat process.
Thank you.
Nothing? Okay, nothing else there, sir?
Thank
We
you.
have Miss Kathy, is it Gaib? You're in here? Oh, outstanding. If you come up here, ma'am, state your name and address for the record, and pull that microphone down because we need there we go.
Okay. My name's Kathy Guy.
I live at 909 North Myra Way. And our property backs right up there. So our whole view for the last 5 years has been the property. And I realize that's going to change and that's okay. But a few weeks ago, we met it's Michael Keys and I believe his wife. Yeah. Anyway, I met them, nice couple. They were walking along the ditch line and we came out of our backyard and we spoke across the canal. And they were very pleasant. It was a very comforting conversation with them because this is our retirement home and our last home. And I had asked them if they would, number one, I asked if these were going to be quality homes. And I'm not sure. They're going to be quality homes. Okay, good. And I asked them if they would consider, not that I mean anything, but if they would consider one-story homes along the canal side, since that would impact our sunsets will be gone anyway, but anyway, I'm just,
So you're asking, so I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
so the 4 lots that are on the east side there, that's what you're asking? Okay.
That'd be 12, 13, 14, 15.
10, 12, 13, 14. I think 15 is a common area, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
so that was it. And they said they wanted to be good neighbors and I didn't know who they were. They introduced themselves to me. And I think that was really it. What's a flake lateral?
That's part of the irrigation network that's already there.
Okay, and the irrigation, is it going to be gone on the north and the east side of the
Yeah.
property?
So we'll have him answer those when he comes back up to
Oh,
rebut
okay.
for you on that, okay?
Oh, okay. And also what kind of landscape at all? And what kind of fencing would be along the canal side?
Okay,
Okay,
we
that's
can
it.
get them to answer that for you also up
Okay,
here.
thank you.
You betcha. Okay, Dana, do we have anybody online? Okay, so that's all that signed up to speak. So Mr. Gibbons, if you want to come back up and answer Miss Kathy's questions.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity. As far as what the flake does remain open because it is a seasonal irrigation lateral. The Jackson lateral is a drain and it will be tiled. It's already tiled here. We're tiling it where it hits the east side of the property. The Jackson.
So make sure you speak into the microphone, sorry.
On the east side, it will still be open out because it's outside our property.
Oh, okay.
We are simply tiling the piece that from here to that way. On where that dirt road is right now.
In other words, are you going to build homes for property yards over the tile?
No. So,
Yeah, there will be
guys,
homes
hang on. We can't have back and forth like
Exactly.
that on the public hearing. We got to keep it all.
I apologize, Mr. Mayor. So, because the Jackson drain will be tiled along the north, that will be actually tiled outside of the building setback. So there will be no buildings built over the pipe itself. That pipe will be at the edge of the property. We will be building a vinyl fence between the neighbors on the north side. It'll be all a wrought iron open style fence here. And I'm fairly certain that's going to be open as well because you have a water feature outside of that. That I'm not sure, but I envision that's correct. Did I miss other
So
questions?
they asked a question about single story homes in those 4 lots.
Okay. In my discussion with the owner, most of the homes would be he envisions 1 and 2 story homes, but for the most part, they will be single story. I don't know what his answer to what it was, but I would imagine that he wouldn't have a lot of issue with a requirement to make sure that those are single story.
Okay.
That's in the effort to be good neighbors, of course.
Okay,
Mayor Chadwick?
Councilwoman?
So how many, like what square footage would we be talking about for those homes then, for a single story?
Councilman Samuelson, so the homes will be 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. The 2 stories would be a little bit bigger, and of course, they have different setbacks, setback further than the single stories, but 15 to 2,000.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. J, I just want to make sure. So did you say wrought iron fencing is going on the back of that east property lines there?
Yes,
Also, just like you're going down on the south side, right?
yes.
Okay. And then can you pull up the landscape plan again? Oh, do you want me to start it again?
Which part of it?
That main, is this the
There
main
you
one
go.
right here?
Yeah. Just click on the slideshow part. There you go.
So when we're looking at landscaping, right, you just have like a tree or 2 along that pathway then?
Correct.
Nothing really in the backyards there,
Correct.
okay, all right.
We are simply the ones that we're augmenting are the ones that are on the flake lateral itself, partly because there's an agreement with the school to make that a little nicer presentation from the school side.
Okay. Any further questions for Mr. J? No, so since the public testimony's done, I can't. I apologize, but I'm sure they'll get with you afterwards on that.
I apologize. I have another question as well. Thank you. I appreciate all the landscaping detail here. So regarding the trees in the backyard, is that something that you like, if the tree dies, I mean, is that going to be included in the CCNRs that there has to be a tree in the backyard, or is that just for this initial build out? And then if, it's up to the property owner if they remove it.
That's a very good question, but we agree that those trees need to be there, and that is a part of our give to the community and to the future neighbors. So, I mean, they're need to be taken care of course,
So
but
can it be added to CCNRs?
It could be
it should be addressed. Sure.
It could be addressed, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then that pathway is public use, right? There wouldn't be
Certainly.
any signs that say for residents only.
All those pathways are as well as the one that runs through this common area, because all this is providing access for school kids primarily, but also, for the public in furtherance of the city's pedestrian facility plans in the future.
And with it being along a canal, when developing the project, did you put was there any thought about safety and the children? Can you address that?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Samuelson, yes, we were concerned about that, and that question also came up at our neighborhood meeting, or one of our neighborhood meetings, just recently, the neighborhood meeting in November or December. We can't, so by irrigation district rules, we can't, there's already a chain link fence along the entire south side of the flake. And so we can't have another one on the north side because they need access for maintenance, and that's part of what our pathway is providing, and why we have open style fencing on the lots. But it is a seasonal amenity. There will be water from April to October. And so, 6 or 8 months of the year that it's a dry, that's why it's seasonal. But yeah, that's safety is always key, but part of that is also education.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe a sign or something along there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you, like kids that live in this neighborhood, if they wanted to use that pathway, they have to go like west to Star Road and then down to the front of the school? Because is that correct? Or is there a place where they would cross the canal?
Right here. Oh, no, they would have to
No,
go
but
down. There's no,
Only at the roadways.
only at the roadways, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
So on the two-story thing, I just want to, let's talk about the single-story thing. So I can't read that lot, right? So these two lots right here, Jay, I think these are the two lots that are directly in relation to the,
These two or these,
yeah, these two right here with the Geibs. I think this is where they live right here.
Uh-huh.
So if these two were single-story right here, that would still, I think, leave open the view that they wish to try to preserve, I guess. Or if you could do all of them, that'd be great too, but
certainly.
that's up to the council to decide. Okay. Any other questions of the applicant before we close this? No? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, so we'll close the public hearing and we'll move on to council deliberations.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey?
give a little history here. I remember when I first saw this and it was an R10 and I thought, man, there's no way. And so I'm actually very happy that we were able to secure it as an R5 back in, was it August?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, and I remember we did have a lot of discussions about the ditches in this, and I realized we did talk fencing then too, and some of these ditches just aren't even on their property, so there's not much they can do about that. The fact they went above and beyond with the landscaping is quite a credit to it. And it sounds like they were good with the single story along that east side there. And for just this long, narrow shape of land, I believe this is a very good design. It looks like the concerns have been addressed, and I am supportive of approving this tonight.
Okay. Councilwoman?
Mayor Chadwick. Yes, I agree. I think that this is a difficult piece of land, long and narrow. And, it's tough to look at. We're not used to seeing this density. So it's just tough. But I think with what we have here, it fits. And I really appreciate the applicant. Yeah, it was very thorough. And having that landscape plan just helps visualize it. I'm in support of it as well.
I make a motion.
You may.
Oh, thank you. I make Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve preliminary plat 20-20 for Saddlewood subdivision, also known as Wilson Landing, with the additional conditions as stated, with the single story
On
on those couple lots.
Lot 2,
Yeah,
2 lots or 4?
lot 10 and 12.
I believe 10 and 12 would be the ones that are most critical to do that too.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion?
Can we add one more condition that it's probably just that all pathways and trails will be ADA compliant?
Would you amend your?
So noted, yes.
And seconded.
So noted second. All right. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, hearing none opposed, that motion carries. Thank you. Will you, we need Michael to come back in here. Oh, yeah. That's right. I end up with like,
He's real possessive of those. He's still bugging me about the last
I
one.
got a lot of them. Yes, you're welcome. So I would just encourage you guys to continue to work with those guys. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Seeing you.
Okay. Michael? We do got some reading. We have some reading to do. We're going to move on to item 7C, ordinance number 322 for Moon Valley Estates property annexation.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey.
I move that pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-902, the rule requiring an ordinance be read on 3 different days with one reading to be in full be dispensed with, and that ordinance number 322 Moon Valley Estate property be considered after reading once by title only.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Keys.
I would ask that the councilman amend his motion to include the other ordinances as well.
I'd be happy to. Would you like me to repeat it?
So, so we're going to read, okay.
I'll
So
take
we're going to
care
do
of it.
this for all 3 of them,
Yes.
is what you're asking.
To dispense the rules.
Dispense of
for
the
all
rules
3.
for all 3 at one time.
I'll amend it. I move that pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-902, the rule requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 different days with one reading to be in full be dispensed with, an ordinances number 322 Moon Valley Estates property, 324 Ridley's Heron River Commercial Property Rezone, and ordinance number 325 Moyle Estates number 2 annexation be considered after, be considered after reading once by title only.
Okay, we got a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that, you say aye?
I did.
Okay, that motion carries. Okay. Now let's do them one at a time to make them clean.
All right, I'll do the first
Oh,
one.
yeah, my apologies. Let me get it up here.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hershey.
I move that we approve ordinance 322 Moon Valley Estates property, an ordinance annexing to the city of Star certain real property located in the unincorporated area of Ada County, Idaho, more specifically located at 7701 West Moon Valley Road in Star, Idaho, and contiguous to the city of Star. The property is owned by G. Matthew Thomas, establishing the zoning classification in the annexed property as residential with a development agreement, R2-DA, of approximately 10.04 acres, directing that certified copies of this ordinance be filed as provided by law, providing for related matters, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, I think we're going to need to do a roll call vote.
Councilman Hershey,
Aye.
Councilman Keys.
Aye.
Councilwoman Solomon.
Aye.
Okay, hearing all ayes, that motion carries. On to item 7D, ordinance number 324. No.
Mr. Mayor, I got it.
Councilman Hershey.
I move that we approve ordinance number 324 Ridley's Heron River Commercial Property Rezone, an ordinance rezoning certain real property located in the city of Star, owned by Mark Ridley, CJM Limited Liability, located specifically at 145 South Plummer Way in Star, Idaho. Ada County parcels R69258100 and R625810010. Rezoning the property from residential with the development agreement R2-DA to to central business district with a development agreement CBD-DA. The property is approximately 11.39 acres, amending the zoning map of the city of Star to reflect such changes and providing an effective date.
Second.
We had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we need a roll call vote.
Councilman Hershey,
Aye.
Councilman Keys.
Aye.
Councilwoman Solomon.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. On to item 7E, ordinance number 325.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman.
let me find it. 325, can we get, okay.
Yes.
I move to approve ordinance number 325, Moyle Estates number 2 annexation. An ordinance annexing to the city of Star certain real property located in the unincorporated area of Ada County, Idaho, more specifically at 9594 West Beacon Light Road and contiguous to the city of Star. Property is owned by Marjorie Moyle Trust, establishing the zoning classification of the annexed property as residential with a development agreement R3-DA of approximately 28.09 acres, directing that certified copies of this ordinance be filed as provided by law, providing for related matters and providing for an effective date.
Second.
Who seconded it? Okay, Councilman Key seconded it. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I do have one item.
Okay.
Under number 2.5, I think there's a typo there. It says all public streets shall have a minimum street width of 3 foot, should be 36 foot.
Where is it at?
2.5.
Oh, on the,
On the development acreage, yeah. Development in the development agreement. Yeah, getting close.
Yep.
Right there.
so we need to fix that, Sean, right there. It says 3 foot.
I don't know, maybe we should leave it at that.
I've already got those.
Okay, yeah, so it needs to be fixed at 36
Bicycle
feet.
lane.
Okay. All right, any further discussion?
No.
Okay, roll call vote.
Councilman Hershey,
Aye.
Councilman Keys.
Aye.
Councilwoman Solomonson.
Aye.
Hearing all ayes, that motion carries. On to item 8, reports. Chief, do you have anything to report? Nope,
Might in a
okay.
minute.
Sean? Councilman Hershey?
Oh, yes, just very, very quickly. I met my first official meeting with Valley Regional Transit, and they are starting a very large study going down the State Street for flow and accessibility to look at better alternatives to public transportation there. It's going to take about a year, if I'm not mistaken, and they've already got the contractor scheduled to go. So potentially some good stuff coming out of there. Also met with the fire district. Nothing really to report out of that. And I just want to say thank you to all the citizens of Star that wished me well last night when I ended up in the ER. More to come on that, but I'm fine. Thanks.
Cool, thank you. Councilwoman?
Real quickly, most of my committees were just starting up again at the beginning of the year, so we haven't met yet this month. Pathway and Beautification Committee is meeting tomorrow here at Wednesday, 6:20. So I'll report on what happens at our next meeting. And then the Chairman Matt Vespar and I met with the Transportation Committee last week, I believe, and just to get our two committees together and talk about pathways in relation with transportation. That's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Keys?
Mr. Mayor, let's see, I attended the Chamber of Commerce annual banquet here last Saturday. I think it'd be safe to say a good time was had by all. And Transportation Committee's been pretty busy. We did have a joint meeting. I think it was productive with the Pathways Beautification Committee. I think there will be some interesting things that come out of that here soon. We've also been pretty busy working on the that report for ACHD to
A 5-year integrated work plan.
the 5-year integrated work plan. So we've made some changes there. And we expect to have that before the council, I believe, at our next meeting for approval, so we can get that submitted into ACHD. We've also been working pretty hard with Canyon Highway District number 4. I think we're, I don't know, probably within 60-ish days or so of having action before the council to approve the impact fee work there. And in support of that, I'd like to see if we can get a workshop scheduled with Canyon Highway District number 4 and possibly their consultants in the council to preview in some depth what I expect will come before the council for approval soon, because there's a lot of moving pieces there that I think we probably ought to talk about more thoughtfully outside of a public hearing.
Okay, we can schedule that.
Okay. And what else? There's been, let's see, we had our first, or we had our, I guess, our second CIP meeting with ITD to figure out how we want to spend our proportionate share dollars. And I think that there's a bunch of effort that's going on around that right now, and we don't really have any final decisions, but I think there's been some interesting plans talked about, and in the fullness of time, I think there'll be some pretty exciting news coming out of that. That's all I have for now.
Okay. I'm going to just add to that a little bit on the ITD CIP. We are, just so everybody's aware, looking at for our first projects to be between Star Road and Canada on doing some widening there. So that's exciting to hear. But we gotta get more information and stuff on that before we can really start proceeding on that. Between Star Road and Canada on Highway 44. Yeah. Michael talked about ACHD and CHD4. I'll tell you, the River House is a pretty popular place right now. I'm hoping here the 1st of February, we'll have a fee structure in place for you to approve for the utilization of that facility. But Ms. Dana and Barbara and myself and Kim have been working on that fee structure based on what others are doing around the valley. Hunters Creek Park is the bid documents are out to bid. We've had seems like quite a few contractors jumping on board on that, which I'm hoping we get a good price on that project. It bids on a Thursday, next Thursday, and so we'll be bringing the documents to you guys for approval on the 2nd. Hunters Creek and Pavilion are right now. I'm sorry, Pavilion and Blake Park are right now in design. So I'm hoping here in February sometime we could get some of the initial designs for the dog park and Blake Park and stuff like that. So I just want to tomorrow is a day in our country that we always have a transition of power in every 4 years. And I just encourage everybody, regardless of your political persuasion, to just be kind with each other. We can only control what we can control here in Star, right? We can't control what happens nationally, but we can control what happens here. So we are all citizens of Star, and regardless of your political persuasion, and we can choose to be kind to each other here. So that's all I have to say. Anything for me? All right. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.